prior to getting communication in writing. So as you would have seen, based off the email that came out yesterday for this invite, it's to discuss pricing and some of the headwinds that we've been encountering over the past several months here. So I noticed that Aaron just clicked on a recording. We want to be able to share this message with not only our team that couldn't, as well as other partners that weren't able to join the call. So if you don't want to run the recording, feel free to hop off now, and I'll give you a second to do so. So I'll open by saying thank you. We just finished up our Q3, which was a very promising quarter, despite some of our headwinds that we were facing and some of those that we're here to speak about today. I noticed there are a few Canadians on the call here. I apologize, as it is a national holiday here in Canada, so happy Canada Day to everybody. And also, this commentary won't, specifically pertain to all of you, but we want to make sure that you're all included in the verbiage that we're having. So, what this conversation is really about is to discuss that we will be increasing our price. We had spoke about it a little bit in a few sessions that we've had in the past, that given the current climate that we're facing with material shortages globally, as well as logistics costs going up, we've been doing our best part to mitigate any risk and costs, but it's inevitable that these costs continue to grow, as well as we have been faced with all these shortages. It's forced us to have to pay more for the raw materials in order to try to get parts out the door. And I think all of you have been experiencing some of the part shortages. That being said, we continue to see growth within a product that goes out the door. Obviously, some of you may not feel the same way, as you felt some headwinds, some serious headwinds and delays due to these part shortages. But I assure you, our procurement team, our sourcing teams are working very diligently to make sure that we're first on the list for all of the vendors that we work with, not to mention product needed, but there is. So the way that this is going to look as we move forward is, as of September 1st this year, 2021, you'll see that your Selection Navigator price will increase. And that's actually, September 1st falls on an odd day versus our promote. But we're planning to have it in for September 1st. In all reality, it'll roll out on the Monday, which is the 5th. And it'll be a 4% increase. And this is, the minimal amount that we could do, given the headwinds that we're faced with this increased cost. We've tried to absorb as much as we can, but there is, a time now to pass on some of those costs to you, unfortunately. And I think this comes as no surprise, as we have sent out 2 communications over the past few months that we've been experiencing these delays in shortages in materials. And for those of you that do carry other manufactured products, I'm sure you're feeling the same headwinds there. So I wanted to expand further on this. So September 1st, as well, you won't see any increase on any project that's booked prior to September 1st. This will happen or take place for any project that's booked post September 1st. You'll then have that increase. And as we've explained in the past, with all of your projects, prior to submitting, you should be updating your pricing within CellNav, right? Whether there's price increase or not, and it gives you the most current pricing on that specific project and the material associated with it. They'll allow our customer service agents to process your order right away. And if you don't update that pricing in the project, what happens is there's a bit of a delay, because we have to bounce that order back to you to approve the pricing or the most current pricing within Selection Navigator. So thanks to Chuck, he reminded me yesterday to make sure I get that message out to you here today. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to open it up to Patrick, if you have any extra words that you want to add here, Patrick.
Thanks, Evan. No, nothing really. I mean, I think in general, right, what we want to do is be as transparent as we could be with where we are. So overall, from a philosophical standpoint, we try, if there's an increase, to just do one once a year. I think this year, given some of the challenges that we faced, we're just not able to hold the prices that we've been able to hold so far. And then the other piece is we recognize that we're increasing prices at a time where we're also struggling from a delivery standpoint. Just getting a component. We've talked previously, let's work as hard as we can to get orders in as early as possible so we have the ability to see that. And then if you're in a challenging situation, please scream, right, so that we can jump on that and recognize what that looks like and work to get that order out there. Appreciate the patience that you have shown so far and continue to show, and recognize, or please know that we recognize the challenges it's creating for you. Do apologize, and we are working 24 hours, 7 days a week with our supply chain team to minimize the impact that you're currently seeing. And unfortunately, it looks like we're probably in for this for another, if you listen to a lot of the experts, probably another 5 to 6 months. So it's not like the smooth sailing starting right away, but we are going to have a little bit of a bumpy road. So the more we can partner together on that, the better off we're going to be. Any questions that folks have, or Evan, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, so this is an open forum meeting here. So you do have the ability to ask a question via the chat, and we have Aaron online that can help facilitate that, and or speak up and ask any questions that you may have. And if we don't have an answer, we'll get you one back.
So there'll be a 4% increase in September, and then also, will there also be one in October as usual?
Hey, Kelly, I should have added too, the 4% is the average, right? So it's not that every single part and piece gets a 4% increase. It's basically a 4% across the board, or sorry, a 4% increase on average on all the parts and pieces. Patrick, did you want to speak to what we see in the future for added in?
Evan, I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but I'm having a hard time. You're going in and out. So I heard in the future, and then I didn't hear what you said after that.
So pricing, let me click off my camera here. So I am working remotely, so bandwidth might be limited here. So just the question regarding increased pricing into the future. So we're putting a price increase as of September 1st. And Kelly was asking, will we see a future price increase October 1? The answer, I'm pretty sure, is no, it's September 1. And that would alleviate a price increase again a month later, October 1.
100% correct. Yeah. No. So absolutely, you will not see a price increase on October 1. We are, I'll say, cautiously optimistic that we know what the future prices will look like, and this encompasses that. And based off what we've had to do from a purchase price variance and going out and buying components from various houses at the highest price point, because that's really what it's like right now. It's a little bit of the wild, wild west, where whoever pays the most gets something, and then you get suppliers decommitting left and right. So that's where we have that baked in, Kelly. And then I think Hank had a question on what are the current delivery challenges. It really varies, Hank. So it's not this one line or this one product or that one product is a challenge. We've got component challenges. So the electronic components that go into so many of our systems, it's very challenging to obtain right now because there's so much global demand. And we have scenarios, for example, with certain suppliers that based off the country they're in, they are mandating when they can, or the government's mandating when they can be open. So we're accustomed to them running 6 days a week. The government's only allowing them to run 2 days a week. So then we've got to work and find alternate sources of supply for that. And so what it is doing is extending lead times out. You probably see it most with panels. That tends to be where the greatest impact is coming right now. But we've had things down to resin issues. I mean, you name it, it's really something that we have seen out there. So that's what the challenge is there. I see the other question, will these price increases affect third-party products like Vesda? So from a Vesda standpoint, we will see an increase from Vesda. They've already announced that. What we do there is it's just whatever that Vesda increase may be. So if Vesda is putting 6% on it, you'll just see a 6% increase coming across from Vesda. But yes, be on the lookout for increased pricing for some of those third-party items that we sell as well.
This is Shane Ferry.
This is Mario with Starfire. You mentioned an increase with Vesda. When is that going to happen?
The Vesda one, I believe, and let me confirm that for everybody here, that may also be September 1, but let me confirm to get it. I know that they've just sent something out on that increase, and I think it's September 1. I just don't know definitively, so we'll get an answer for you.
Okay, so if we already priced a job and we got a price from Vesda or Extrelis on the materials,
You're good.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Without no price increase, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So, hey, so I was just going to add to that. So we did have this conversation yesterday with our ASMs, and you know, they're all very aware of this price increase and what's happening, and that's where, you know, constantly they all should be encouraging you to make sure all your projects are within CellNav, so that that process is happening, that we can source the proper material for when you're going to need it. And so when you say, if we've already priced a job, it's one of those things too. It needs to be visible to us as well, so that we can work that perspective to make sure that your order sees no further price increase. There was one thing that I was just going to say. There was one you know, word or phrase that Patrick used about the decommit, and I know I've had this conversation several times over with many of you, that hey, we get a date and the date moves and then it moves again, whether it's forward or back. And that really comes down to two things. Is, you know, one is the decommit piece, and the other one, our sourcing teams working hard to pull things forward. And what you've seen sometimes is the dates get pulled forward and then pushed back out. That's that decommit piece. We're told that we have the ability to receive this material on a certain date, and our vendor then decommits. And that's what that's all about. And the reason I want to explain is because so often in the past few weeks, I've had people ask about why is it a rolling date? You know, it's a moving target of when I'm going to get the material. And that really comes down to our suppliers. All of the suppliers are really hitting this decommit button that, you know, they couldn't get it out when they thought they could because of, you know, government restrictions on when people could go to work, and or, you know, their source for raw material didn't come in when they thought it was going to. So I just wanted to explain that piece. Shane, I think you had a comment to add or a question.
Yes, I do. Thank you. First of all, I appreciate you guys holding this meeting. I picked up a key word that you used, average. So what do you feel the price increase will actually be on the control panels? Because, you know, is that going to be higher than the 4%, at the 4%, or lower? Because average is, you know, in the center of it all.
Thanks for asking that, Shane. That was my question too.
Yes, so I would not anticipate that you will see your standard control panels increase by more than 4%. So if we look as a percentage of total sales, what that looks like, if you're touching the control panels by a whole lot more or a whole lot less, you're going to struggle to hit that 4% average using that word. There may be a few one-offs that you might see increase depending upon what that looks like. But for the most part, Shane, the control panel will not increase by more than 4%.
And pretty much the same for the sensors and stuff?
Yeah, correct. I think in general, you will see most things right around that 4%. It's not going to be, I'll use the phrase peanut butter spread. It's not just peanut butter spreading it and saying everything's 4%. You're going to have a few things that may be below that 4%. You may have a few that are a little bit higher.
Okay.
Based off the cost of manufacture and the other piece, knowing where those components need to be within the marketplace. So we may have some where we recognize that if we increase by more than 4%, that becomes painful for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'll go back to mute.
Any other questions? Alrighty. Well, thank you for your time and your understanding. And as we both said here, we're here to work with you and continue to strengthen these partnerships. if you're feeling the struggle, don't feel bad about, being vocal and letting us know where the struggles and the needs are for you. And we'll do our damnedest to make sure that that's all sorted out for you, and, continue to make all effort to have delivery on the dates that you need it, that works for you as well as your end users. So I'll leave you with this. Thank you for another great quarter, another good month, despite these struggles. And as we head into a long weekend, we wish you, your family, your loved ones, and your friends all the best, and most importantly, a safe weekend to celebrate. Thank you.
Thanks, Evan. Thanks,
Okay.
Evan.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Patrick and Evan, for your help on our situation too.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.